So yeah, today we'll be talking to the guys at Dogstar specifically about their choices when it came to choosing a CRM system and how it might integrate with their website and reasons for that and the different choices that they made. So to start off with, we're joined by Sam and Coleen from Dogstar. So I'll let Sam tell you a bit about herself and what Dogstar are about.
Okay, so I'm Sam Green from Dogstar Foundation. So I'm the founder and the CEO. We are a UK registered charity, but all of our work is based in Sri Lanka. So we have just under 50 local Sri Lankan staff. As you can see from the picture, we are a dog and a cat organisation. And what makes us a little bit different from a lot of overseas charities is we don't run a shelter or rehoming system. We're running mobile sterilisation programs for dogs and cats because that's our major problem in Sri Lanka is too many dogs and cats, not enough homes. So this is Jerry, one of the dogs who lives with one of our members of staff. So we're dogs and cats, and we came to Fat Beehive when we were in need of a new website.
Cool. So yeah, when you guys got in touch a year or so ago, there were some specific reasons in terms of what you had before,
Yes.
in terms of the website and in terms of the CRM and how they were speaking. But what was the kind of driver between why you needed a website in the first place?
Yeah, so obviously for us, the majority of our fundraising is coming via our website because we don't have any physical offices. I suppose I'm a time on. We don't have any physical offices in the UK. So a website for us is really, really important. And this CRM sort of website integration, this isn't our first attempt at it. So our Fat Beehive experience is version 2, and our first version did not go very well at all. And we ended up with a website that wouldn't talk properly to the CRM. It was giving false information to the CRM. It was causing Coleen an awful lot of additional work. So really, when we came to you, we needed a solution that was going to work for us. And in the short term, that's why we had to have an interim website. So we currently, if you look at our website now, it's a very basic interim website that has a inbuilt form from Beacon, our CRM, embedded into it. And that allowed us just to process donations, get back to business, raising money. But that obviously wasn't our final solution.
No, I think integrations with a CRM is something that comes up a lot with our clients. You know, we speak to a lot of organisations that have a CRM and they want to better use their CRM. I think the CRM in general is there to improve your operations as a charity, so collecting data and knowing some more information about your users and how they're interacting with you. Integrated with the website means that you're getting better data, or you again avoiding duplicates and the issues that you have in there, or improve some of your internal processes or efficiencies. So I guess from your experiences with that, when you were choosing a CRM, there's obviously a lot out there. Beacon's one of many, and there's a few on here that you might use yourselves. A lot of them come with very different integration options, or very different functionality, or very different customizations. These are from the Charity Digital article, but I think when you're choosing a CRM, there's going to be a lot of factors around its functionality, around its scalability, around its customization options, about its pricing, and what you get up front versus what its ongoing costs are, and things like that. We see all of these in terms of conversations we have with our clients, but what was quite interesting is the Fundraising magazine had a survey around which are the most popular CRMs, and the responses they've got show that there's a few that lead the market in terms of Razor's Edge, a name we all know, Dynamics. They do very well with the bigger charities, so those with maybe a lot more bespoke requirements, a lot more custom elements that they might need. Whereas the smaller ones, or the medium-sized charities, where we see Beacon, Donify, really getting some ground and really making a mark in the sector. What was interesting is they scored them on these different criteria. So again, what's right for you is going to come down to how you use your CRM and what you need it for. But its interaction with other systems and its interaction with the website were ones that came out on top for Beacon, for Donify. Salesforce do very well on that. Dynamics do quite well. And that's probably consistent with what we see as well when we're integrating with these systems, that some of them are built with integration in mind, some of them have got embeddable forms or APIs that we can link with. But when we talk about integration with a client and how they might interact with their website, it often doesn't mean the same thing. I think integration to a developer like Ash, our WordPress lead, means something very different to someone who isn't used to technical terms. So they might just mean a link somewhere. So there's all these different terms that we hear. And Ash is probably a better place to tell you a little bit about what we mean or what a client might mean when they say these things.
So yes, from a developer's point of view, a true integration is really the last one we've got on the list there, which is an API integration. It allows us to integrate in a two-way. So the website can be talking to the CRM. We can also pull in data from the CRM, bring it into the website, and do what we like with it. It gives us the full flexibility. But other ways that clients use can be as simple as having a hyperlink that goes to an external website. The user would then fill in the forms over there, potentially sign up to become a member, do their donations. Or they can have a portal, which is kind of similar to the hyperlink, but you'd have the portal live on a subdomain. So it could be something like donations.theclientsdomain.com or support.theclientsdomain.com, a little bit more customization. Another step up from that could be using an embed form on the website itself. That helps provide a look and feel that's more consistent, so that the form that's coming from the CRM looks like it's part of your website. Other ways you can integrate is via plugins. Some WordPress plugins allow you to integrate to some level with a CRM like Salesforce, or if the CRM does not provide an API, what we can do is do some manual importing and exporting. So there could be a CSV export from the website that is read by the CRM to bring data in. That can be the other way around as well, where the CRM exports data and the website reads it in. We can go one step above this and schedule it so that it's running every day or every hour, as often as needed. Other option is to use third parties, maybe like Zapier, that handle the integration on their side. So we'd have forms on the website. When you submit it, it talks to Zapier. Zapier then talks to the CRM of your choice, and your data is pushed across that way. That's in summary the various different types of integrations.
Cool. So in terms of your experience, kind of looking at the embedded forms and the API integration, so when you were looking at a CRM, what were the key kind of decisions or criteria in terms of choosing a CRM or how it might link with a website? What was your thought process?
Well, Beacon was fairly new in 2019 and we were a very small charity back then. So it was basically a lot to do with us being a small charity and not wanting to spend as much like for Razor's Edge or that, because it is rather expensive, shall we say. So cost was a major thing for us. Flexibility with them. They were very open to talk with us about what they were looking for. So even now, after all these years, I can go to them and say, I really think this would be a really good idea, and they'll put it out. And if a lot of people come back and say, yes, we would like this function, instead of waiting maybe a year, 2 years with some of the bigger CRMs, you can have it within a couple of months, which is really handy if you're a charity that is still growing, which we are. Personally, I always look where my data is sitting. GDPR, come on. Every charity will want to know where their data is sitting because of GDPR laws. And I joined last year, but when Beacon came in, there was nobody really technical. They needed a system that was easy to use. So the original CRM that they had was rather difficult, shall we say, for them. And they wanted something that was very straightforward. Now, systems in place, I came in, I used large CRMs and I just picked up in Beacon. It was like really easy. But bringing in a new member of staff, I could do an hour's training and get to grips with Beacon. It is so simple to use and they have great, you can, go and say it.
Contact, not call.
Yeah, they've got like a web chat, so you can actually contact them. They usually tell you it takes about 10 minutes and somebody will get back to you, and they're really responsive and they'll talk you through it and they'll give you steps if you're stuck. There's webinars that you can go to that are all free of charge.
Free, yeah.
So they do, I can't remember what it's called, but you can log on and you can do like their wee like classes online, and as they get bigger there's more and more classes for them. So for us, small CRM that was in the right attachment for cash for us to pay out was one of the reasons we went with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
as Coleen said, she's an expert in CRM. She's worked on bigger CRMs for bigger charities, but Olivia and Mark and I hadn't really got any experience, and we've been able to be taught by you in a very short space of time how to look at the things that we need.
Yeah.
But we don't need to learn all the things we don't need to know.
Yeah, I don't want you to know that.
No, I don't need to know either.
So when you were integrating with the website, you've obviously had the embedded forms, and now what we're building for you guys is more of a API integration. So
Yeah.
what was the reason for that change, I
So
guess?
the embedded forms were a really good sort of starting point. And they're very good. The donor experience is fairly standard.
Yeah.
It was giving you the information
Yeah.
you needed into the back end.
Yeah, so before we started using the embedded forms, what actually was happening is I was getting double data, which nobody wants that if they work in finance. So I was spending a lot of time getting rid of all the duplicates, and then I wasn't getting some information in. I also wasn't able to track where they were on the website or where the donations were coming into. So we've got various campaigns.
We had
I
no
don't have a
idea.
clue where this money was
Yeah.
to go. That's not good for the donor.
No, and it wasn't
Yeah.
good for us, and it was wasting
Yeah.
a lot of your time. So the embed forms solve those problems for us, but there's a limit to what they
Yeah.
can do. And what we found was our donor base, particularly, is older people tend to support our cause, and there are certain things that are barriers to them with donating. And with a embed form, we can't remove those things if we discover that there is something that is stopping our donors getting through the process. There's nothing we can do. It's a generic form that for most people will be adequate,
Yeah.
but you can't personalise it. And I think that was where we got to when we came to you. The embed form, it was good, and as the interim solution, it's been able to process donations, but we can't take it to that next step. And we've been working with Fat Beehive for now 6 months on our new website that's due to go live very soon, and we've spent a lot of time creating a look and feel with that new website that aligns with our brand, and we wanted the donation function to be part of that. And if we used an embed form, it just didn't look like it was our website.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was a website. Also, certain information that we wanted to data capture, we couldn't do.
Yeah.
So the beautiful thing about Beacon is that we can add something to the website, and if I don't have it in Beacon, I can build it in Beacon. So I can literally get whatever information I need from the website and Beacon.
But using the form,
Yeah,
we could only ask for certain things.
You can, with the form, you're like, you have to fill in your address. Our donors don't like it. They're like, we get so many complaints about that. So this was one of the reasons we had to go for the custom one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because your audience is
Yeah.
unique, they're not going to be one size fits all.
And I think that is the thing that, all charities have got a different supporter base, and we all know who our supporter base is, and what works for us might not work for someone else. And that's where the embed forms, there's a limit to them. But they are, particularly when we're a smaller charity, they're a very good first step.
Yeah.
But if
They were
you,
our saving grace.
They were our
The last
saving
6
grace.
months, they have been our
But-
saving grace.
because they do process the donations
Yeah.
really well, but we all know our supporters are different people, and we know that each organisation's got a different need with supporters, and that was where the embed forms just wouldn't take us to that next level.
Yeah, I guess with the website and CRM, having that adaptability,
Yeah.
to work what works for your audience, what works for your
Yeah.
needs, and to be able to adapt and iterate and change that. I think the report here from the European Fundraising Association, I guess, highlights some of the challenges that the sector's having. That there's a bit of a budget squeeze, the cost of living crisis, so the amount of people donating has got smaller, the amount of people are giving has gone down. So what you really need to focus on is keeping your donors engaged. How do you maximise their conversions? How do you keep them giving what they can to your cause, and having a donation process and a donation flow that's built around their needs
Yeah.
gives you that flex, and how they donate to you this year might change compared to next year and compared to 2 years' time. And having a solution that can grow and adapt with you within the CRM or within the website, that the two can both flex and change
Yeah.
when you need to, is kind of crucial in maximising that, I think. It's something we apply to the websites as well. Websites should always be getting better. It should always have a kind of a evidence-led approach. What works, what doesn't work. What your audience is engaged with, what they don't engage with. I was trying to find a way of shoehorning a football analogy into this, and I'm thinking, if we look at the England team, right, we know what works and we know what doesn't work. If we keep doing the same thing, we go out in tournaments in the second round. If we know a bit more about how to adapt the team or the tactics or the changes, you can base it on some real data. And in terms of sports science, they're analysing every aspect of a game and what works well and whether this works better than that. And it's the same for a website. You know, what works for your donors is going to be unique to your charity.
Yeah.
And being able to learn from that. And if something doesn't work, being able to try it, test it, learn from it, and go, we know that didn't particularly work well for our donors, so let's try something different next time. And it just means that this kind of A/B approach, where you can go, let's see if this has the results we want, and if it does, do more of it. If it doesn't, it's still a worthwhile exercise because you've learned something from it. You've tried something that your donors didn't engage with, or it didn't have the desired effect. You can then take that information and apply it to everything else that you do and say, well, next time we make a change, what do we know about our donors? What do we know about our audiences? How do we make sure that these changes are in line with what they're trying to do?
And I think, it's about being able to react more in real time. So we started this process in, I think, October or November last year with you. And at that point, a lot of people were still donating on the Facebook donate button to us. Well, obviously, any European donor is now not having access to that. And there's a lot of speculation that Meta are going to pull the donation function from the UK platform at some point. That wasn't at all on our radar when we started this. So things will happen. And I think when you're doing something like this, it's got a 6-7 month lead time, that having that flexibility to say, you know, we know that's what we said at the beginning, but actually now we need to change something because the world has changed or a different donation option has gone. I think that was something else for us. As you know, we're investing in the website, investing in the ability to not have to try and work out what's going to happen 2 years down the line and be able to change with it.
Yeah, you don't have to build something and go, this is it forever.
Yeah.
You know, this is how it's always going to work. And I think in terms of the new donation process, I think this will be going live shortly, but what it gives you the flexibility to do is ask the questions you want to ask and get the fields you want to present to your donors on the first step, the second step, the third step, and try different things with it. You know, we were talking earlier about changing colours on the form and changing fields on the form and having that flex to go, this is going to make life easier for our donors. This is something that we think is a little bit confusing or something that might put people off. Let's change it, which you can do with this kind of solution, whereas in embedded form, it is what it is and it does its job very well, but if you want to change that, it doesn't have that. So having this solution just means we can work with you guys over the next 6, 12, 18 months and keep learning, keep changing, keep iterating. It's never going to be finished. It's always going to be something
we're never going to finish
we
this
can keep,
website.
we can keep getting better.
This website's
Sorry, Ash.
I apologise so many times. This website, I mean, we're going to launch it, and what you see probably in month 1 isn't what you're going to see in month 3, because we already know we're going to change this form. I've already coloured.
And I think that's the really important thing. That I mean, we have gone through this so many times. We have done so many mock donations on this. I think that I'm seeing this form in my sleep. But we know that once we put this live and our supporters start interacting with it, that something that we all thought was a great idea, they might not. And already there's the options where you can change the steps around. So are we going to put the donation options on step 3 or step 2? And we can swap that around and we can see what works and we can remove the barriers for donation.
Jack will be able to tell us where they're what's stopping
where
them,
people are stopping.
because he's going to obviously monitor the website for us. We'll look at what he's telling us. We'll listen to what our donors are telling us because they're rather vocal, and we will go with that.
I think you mentioned you've got quite an engaged bunch of supporters that will tell you what
they
will.
When we changed the embed form, Coleen had a week's worth of people emailing going, why is the button in a different place? I like the button where it used to be.
Why doesn't it not say these words? Why does it not say their words? Because it's not the same.
So I think it is, if you've got engaged supporters, it's really good to get them to tell you what the barriers are as well. So I think with you looking at the sort of technical thing and tracking, and then with us taking the sort of feedback from the donors, we can just keep refining this. So like you said, the website's never going to be finished. We're always going to be updating copy on it and photographs and the blogs and this
technology as it changes.
Technology
we will
changes.
change.
Yeah, it's the first step. Going live is the first step.
So you're never ever getting rid of us.
Well, I think Ash is looking forward to all the changes.